February 5th. It's about 7 a.m. and I'm on my way driving into work, chatting with my mom. Video, it's part of our daily routine. And suddenly, I'm silenced with a discomfort in my chest, and eventually a numbness in my room. And I try to ignore it because I've had false alarms in the past. I try to convince myself I'm probably having an anxiety attack. But this time, it felt different. My mom is pleading with me to stop and ask for help. But I keep driving. Deep down, something says, stop. And I almost didn't. Not because I didn't think it was serious, but because I didn't want to be seen as something vulnerable. Just 4 days before that, I had walked my heart out and enjoyed a heart healthy thing. As a matter of fact, on the very morning of that cardiac event, I was taking a picture to commemorate a non-scale victory. Because the very first time that I received the shirt from a friend, it didn't fit. And because I had been intentional about the decisions I made in reference to my health, here I am, celebrating. I was working out 4 days a week with a personal trainer. I changed the way I ate. I was walking up to 6 miles at a time, and it still happened. Now, my husband calls this the heart attack shirt. The heart attack, it wasn't the only event. It was the silence that followed. My heart wasn't the only thing that needed attention. It was this illusion that I had been living under. That strength, the composure, the leadership, mirrored invincibility. Not physically, but emotionally. Think about the men and women in your life, personal and professional, who you have pegged as being the strong one. How often do they display or expose those vulnerabilities? Almost never, if at all. What made matters most is the mental recovery. I didn't trust myself anymore. I didn't trust my body anymore. I second-guessed every beat, every heartbeat. And although I was spiritually turning up, I wasn't okay. I was afraid, fragile. And in the presence of the 50 men and women that I was leading, I stood in front of them and told them that I was breaking. Honestly, I don't even remember saying it. It's not until one employee came to my office to have a private conversation with me in reference to what I had shared. And she said, the staff doesn't know what to do with a vulnerable leader. And I thought, well, maybe that's the problem. And while they were trying to figure it out, I knew exactly what to do. And I led with her. In the coming weeks, I continue to work out. I continue walking, sometimes reluctantly, sometimes even crying. But I kept moving. And I shared my truth, not as a performance, but as a practice. And at first it was unfamiliar and it was uncomfortable, but I had to relearn how to show up without pretending. And eventually, the air around me loosened up, it felt lighter, and I felt the tension in my jaw ease up. And I was not bracing for collapse anymore. I was giving myself space to just be. See, here's the thing about vulnerability. It doesn't promise. It doesn't promise comfort, but it does create clarity. You don't have to be unshaken to be taken seriously. And you don't have to prove your strength by pretending that you feel no pain. You only need the courage to be seen. Let me ask you a question. How many of you are right now gripping at the wheel, pretending that you're fine? What would you do, or what would change if you just paused? What might shift if you allowed someone to see you? Not when you've figured it all out, but right now, mid-healing. At my 1 year upcoming anniversary, I plan on hosting my very own heart health event. Because thank you. This red ribbon, it represents all of our stories, all of our soft spots, all of our silent battles. And alone, it is delicate, but tied with others, it becomes visible, strong, and even more meaningful. So, at that upcoming event in 1 year, well, less than that now, I plan on tasking my guests with tying the ribbons together as a sign that none of us have to be alone in our healing, and that none of us have to be alone in our living or our healing. Real leadership, guys, it's not about being perfect. It's about choosing presence, even when it is wrong, especially when it is wrong. Thank you.